Hi, how are you today? I'm going to show you how I run wires inside of a breaker box. You bring the Romex jacket into the box about 1/4 of an inch to maybe 1/2 of an inch. Now if this is a main panel, you can put your whites and grounds on the same bus bar, but if it's a sub panel, the whites have to be on one side and the ground has to be on the other side, and the white has to be isolated from the box. But I'm going to show you as if it were to be a main box. So what I do is I take my white wire, go down, go around to the corner, come up, then I go in and I come up straight to the I cut it just on where the wire will come through the bus bar. Strip it according to the size. If it's 14, use the 14. If it's 12, use the 12 hole. As I say, I'm doing this as if it were a main box. I take the ground wire, go down around to the corner, go down and push it down into the corner, come up, keep it straight, get your little kinks out of it, make sure it's coming up straight, come across, cut it where you're going to be. Okay, then you tighten it down, make sure it's all good and tight. Then you take your circuit breaker, you put it in. I think I'll go to the top one for this. I'll push in here, take the black wire, go down, come up. Then I'll make my bend where it's going to go into the breaker, and I'll cut it about right here. Make sure you don't get the insulation pinched under the terminal, and you just snug it up. And that's how it should look. Okay, when you twist your wires and put your wire nuts on, I like to twist them even and cut this end off so it's even. And see how I have my insulation even at the bottom of each twist? And then you take your wire nut, and you just tighten it down. Here's how I make the connections on the side of an outlet. See how I put the wire around the screw, the direction the screw turns, and close the loop. And I make sure the insulation doesn't get pinched under the screw. And when I fold them into the box, see how I make it like an accordion so that nothing gets pinched or stressed on. Here's a junction box, how to wire inside of a junction box. See how the wires are all twisted evenly. And fold it in neatly so that nothing is pinched or stressed. And if you're using a metal box, just make sure there's nothing in the way of the cover screws so that the screws don't hit them. Here is an outlet with 2 circuits in it. You break the little tab out on between the screws here. Top is on one circuit, bottom is on the other circuit, and you should have 240 between these 2 screws because you have to share the neutral. And you have to have these on opposite legs of the 240 so you don't overload the neutral. And there's what the other side would look like. You leave the link in on this side because both circuits are sharing the same neutral. And see how I fold the wires? See how I have the ground wires up higher? Or if you're putting it in this way, it's down at the bottom so that the bare wire stays away from the screws. I believe they recommend putting outlets in this way in case something metal falls. It will hit the ground before it hits something live. Here is a light switch. And you always switch the live side. See, the whites are wire nutted together and the ground wires are wire nutted together, and the ground wire comes over here and goes to the green screw, which is on the side of the switch. And here's how I prefer to wire the outlets. I like to pigtail behind all of them. And again, I fold my ground wires so it stays either at the top or on the bottom, depending on which way you're putting it in, so that it clears these terminals here. And I pigtail down here in case, like, if one of these links break off, you don't lose the rest of the outlets on the circuit. And again, you can see how I twist the wires evenly, the insulation even at the bottom, and I cut the twist at the top so that the wire nut grabs all the wires. And thank you very much for watching.